Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I think it's can't remember what day it is here in Costa Rica. Anyways, just planning to leave my Airbnb, and then I'm going to be going to the other one that is even more in the jungle. So that's going to be a journey to get there. Corcovado Park, which is like a national park. The Airbnb I'm staying at there is right in the middle of that, so definitely it's a lot of off-roading to get to there. And this is the bridge that I gotta take. Pretty crazy. You know, it's in the middle of nowhere when you gotta take a bridge like this. Man, this place has changed. I was here in 2019 and was nothing like this. None of this was here. And wow. Probably just gonna check in and then I'll get to you guys. I'll show you more of the landscape and everything. But and I'm meeting with the hosts. I believe just up here. Just gotta go to the villa and find out. Oh. Known these people before when I was here in 2019, and there's, how's it going?
Hey Trevor, welcome.
Hey,
welcome back, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Bugs everywhere.
Yeah.
Man, this place is amazing.
Thank you.
It's very nice. So
thank you. Big change from the last time you were here, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, a lot has changed, that's for sure. So
absolutely.
What I'm gonna do is I'll just put everything in there, and then
yep,
we'll go check out the whole lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Property.
Give you a tour. Yeah.
Looks amazing. We're gonna go inside and check it out. So we walk in, obviously a kitchen. Just close the door. Dining room, living room, and then through here we go upstairs. Have this view up here all to myself. Not bad for a couple days. And then in here is the bedroom. 2 beds, a little fan. And then washroom, shower, very nice. So yeah, this place has changed a lot since 2019. How are you guys enjoying this?
It's been an amazing challenge for sure. It's changed in every conceivable way. When we first moved here, you could see from one end of the property to the other.
Yeah.
So I think we've planted like well over 2,000 plants and trees, just trying to change the ecosystem within the property here to bring the birds back in, bring the animals back in. Sadly, it had been clear cut before, years and years ago, and so, you know, a large forestry company came and just took out all of the major hardwood tree species. So we're working hard to bring that back and bring in some fruits and flower to get the flora and fauna going.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ashley said earlier that you guys are off the grid. Everything is off the grid.
Yep.
Is that, has it been a difficult time at the beginning?
In the beginning, yeah, the first few months while we got all of our systems up and running, it was a bit challenging. First, getting water to the construction site here, just to mix concrete or to keep yourself cooled off. That was our first challenge, and then getting the electrical systems going. And we're about 4 kilometers from the nearest, hydroelectricity pole or electrical grid. So. Yeah, a lot of it was challenging in the early months. We were hauling water up from the creek just to flush a toilet or things like that. But very quickly on, we got things moving and made things super comfortable for ourselves pretty quickly. So I'll just take you up to the house here and show you the heart of the electrical system that we put in. We'll just come around this
And then
way.
obviously this is their castle.
Yeah.
Because when I was here in 2019, the only thing they had here were those pillars. Actually, there was only, I think, maybe 4 of them.
Yeah.
Well, these guys.
I think there's 59 of them now. Yeah.
59, ooh.
Yeah. So this is the system that powers both houses, basically powers the entire property. And we recently purchased a new set of batteries. These are the old batteries that we were able to get about 6 years lifespan out of, which is really good in terms of typical battery life. So it's sort of split into 2 halves where we have a combination of solar panels and a hydro turbine in the river. So all of the power that comes in from the hydro turbine comes in through this charge controller and then enters the battery. At the same time, the solar panels come through that charge controller, entering the battery. After that, it goes through the inverter, which changes it from DC power back to AC 110 power, and then into your typical breaker box and separates out from there.
Nice. That's pretty good. And you got like solar panels and...
Yeah, at the moment it's a fairly small solar system because when we bought this property, one of the biggest reasons, the biggest draws to this property was the flowing river with the waterfalls, which enables us to use a hydro turbine, which is otherwise known as like a Pelton wheel. Here's a good indication of what a Pelton wheel basically looks like. In our case, there's an alternator attached to one end of it, and you basically have 2 jets of water constantly firing at it. Turning it at as high a revolution as we can get. The more revolution, the more power. And so that is the secret to the system, in my opinion. Living in the jungle, you'd think here we would have so much sun where you wouldn't know what to do with it, but oftentimes either it's the rainy season or we've got a cloudy day or something like that. And so solar efficiency is touch and go, whereas the hydro system is fantastic.
It never stops.
It never stops. At 3 in the morning, it's charging our batteries. So we know a lot of other people in the area that have to strictly rely on just solar. But it's in the morning, waiting for enough power to run the toaster or the electric kettle or something. Our batteries are generally full in the morning. So
that's good. So water is very important.
Water is key. Falling water is free electricity. You just have to harness it.
Nice.
And it's a very reliable system. At certain times of the year, at this time of the year in particular, it's in the middle of dry season, so our water flow is diminished a little bit. But during that time, we also have a little bit more sun, so the hybrid system kind of balances itself out. During the rainy season, when there's very little sun, we've got more water than we know what to do with, and so we can crank the system wide open and basically rely off of that entirely.
Nice. So now we're going to head down to the river, check out, there's a couple waterfalls, and then we're going to check out that turbine. Take a look at that, how cool that's going to be. Yeah, back in the day when we came down, it was, this was quite the hike. Yeah. It's a little different now because it has little steps and railings.
It needs another workover, but it takes a couple of rounds every year to just come through and square it all up again.
And I guess anyone who stays here, they have access to it?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, there's several different waterfalls. This one is sort of what we call waterfall number 1, only as we discovered them. And we were here a couple of years before we realized that there were several more waterfalls. It just took trail building in order to gain access to them. So now we keep the trails nice and clean so people can come down and enjoy them and escape from the heat of the day a little bit.
Nice, yeah.
It's all spring-fed. This river is all spring-fed, so the temperature of the water is cooler than most rivers. It's clearer. It's you can drink right out of it pretty well. So.
And your property goes further, or?
So our property follows the river on this side of the river for about another 1.5 kilometers, almost 2 kilometers up the mountain. And this river is the boundary between our land and the indigenous reserve. It's an indigenous group known as the Guaymi. And so they have about 2,400 hectares of land set aside for them. And beyond them is Corcovado Park. So it's a very small group of indigenous. There's only about 120 of them left with their own language that's slowly dying away as the young people are leaving. And, so it's critical that they keep their existence going. But for us, it's almost the same as being right on the border of Corcovado Park. Because,
nice. Well, that waterfall is great view.
Yeah,
you know,
beautiful.
Going for a dip in there, it's always going to be awesome. And as we get down here, we got the turbine here in action.
Yeah, so this is a Pelton wheel turbine inside the housing. Oh, sorry, there's something crawling on me. Inside the housing is that wheel that I showed earlier, and we have 2 jets of water. At the moment, I only have 1 operating, being the dry season, but basically, falling water is free kinetic energy. You just have to transform it into electrical energy using this simple generator, alternator, and the excess water, or once the electricity has been harvested out of the water, it falls through the bottom of the floor and re-enters the stream. So it's essentially zero impact on the environment.
That's pretty good. Where it's doesn't. That's crazy.
Yeah. Even on the intake side, where we get the water from, in order to make sure that I wasn't, accidentally capturing animals, bugs, frogs, things like that. So I built a really interesting filter system. So it's just water, no frog eggs and things like that. It's literally a zero impact electrical system. Pretty awesome.
That's a pretty good system that is here for electricity and just using the natural water. That's crazy. It's definitely worth it with that. And the water is like not cold, and it's just perfect. So good. After that long walk for that hike, it's very much nice. But definitely for sure, make sure you have a water shoes, because you can't tell where the rocks are and anything, so almost slipped there. So you guys got a lot of trees here. Is it just like I can see right there, there's the coconut tree?
Yep.
What else do you guys have here?
Basically all in this area are things we planted since we moved in 5 or 6 years ago. And so the coconut trees, here is a limon dulce, or a sweet lemon tree. Next to that, we've got a couple of avocado trees that we planted from seed, and they should be ready to start producing in another year or 2. And then these big leafy guys here are almond trees, beach almond trees, which is the favorite food of the scarlet macaw. So noticing that the scarlet macaws were flying overhead on their way to the beach to eat their almond trees, I planted about 20 of them in the first few weeks we were here on the property.
Nice.
And so they grew quite quickly, and now they're producing fruit, and now the scarlet macaws stop in on their way. Over here we've just got some bananas, different varieties of bananas, miniature bananas and red bananas and all sorts of different
Nice.
ones. And over here is the agua manzana tree, the water apple tree. I'll show you what
A water apple tree, never heard of that.
Sounds like a mixture between a cross between a pear and an apple. underneath the canopy here. Also find really cool feathers. That's a really cool feather. But anyway, so this is more or less what they look like. Oftentimes they're quite a bit bigger. But there's your water apple tree. So, yeah.
Looks like a pepper.
This one's a little underripe. They should be a little softer, but I see some nicer ones a little higher up. I can't reach them. Well, oh yeah. It's a bit tart, but
Well, that was a cool little tour of the property. A lot of things that didn't expect they would do it here with the you know, the hydro and the spring water and stuff. It's pretty cool. So definitely, for sure, if you're in Costa Rica and you want to come spend, you know, a week or the weekend in the jungle, this is the place to stay because it's off the grid and really, really cool.